So there's this fashion brand called Verge Girl. It's this really cute Australian company that has so many trendy, cute and cool girly outfits. The website is filled with super cute items that I love and I would buy everything if I could. But there's this one shirt that I love in particular. I haven't bought it because I'm trying to be more sustainable, plus I don't really feel like spending $43 Canadian on it when it only really covers your boobs and I could probably make it myself. So I decided to take a few things from my closet and upcycle them into this top, and here's how it turned out. The fabric that I use is not similar to the original at all, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I just like the overall look of the shirt. It's really comfortable, breathable, and super cute without being uncomfortable, which I really like. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I refurbished 2 more shirts into a Verge Girl inspired top. So keep watching to follow my super simple upcycling DIY. Just a really quick disclaimer, this is my first tutorial video. I've never explained how to make something. Also, I just learned how to make things myself, so I'm really sorry if the instructions are unclear, but I tried my best. Sorry. Here are the materials that you'll need. First, you'll need some fabric, preferably something from your closet that you want to upcycle. A bra, some jumbo elastic, thread to match your fabric, satin string or any string of your choice, a measuring tape, safety pins, hemming pins, scissors, fabric chalk, and last but not least, a sewing machine. This is the first shirt that I'll be working with. It's from my roommate's closet. It was hers that she got from Value Village a long time ago and never wears. The next top I'll be using is a shirt that I got from a thrift store a couple years ago. I never really wore it because it kind of fits me weird, but I always really loved the material and the way it shines in the sunlight, so I'm going to be using that shirt. The first thing you want to start doing is taking your measurements, as these measurements are going to be very important later on. The first measurement I'm taking is from the armpit down to the waist area, because this is where I want this shirt to fall once it's finished. The second important measurement is from the bottom of the neck down to your chest, stopping at where you want the shirt's first top tie to be. For the yellow shirt that I'm making for Megan, the first measurement of the armpit down to the waist was 18 centimeters, and from the bottom of the neck to the chest was 17 centimeters. So what I'm doing now is measuring from the bottom of the neck down to the top of the chest of where we want Megan's shirt to fall on her chest. So I'm marking about 17 centimeters down, and then I'm making 2 lines connecting the bottom of that line to the tops of the shoulders. Once we've done those measurements and marked it with our fabric chalk, we're going to go ahead and mark the next measurement, which is the armpit to the waist measurement. On Megan it was 18 centimeters, so here I am marking that right now with my chalk. Once those 2 18 centimeter lines are marked, I'm going to go ahead and connect those 2 lines using my measuring tape. Next, what I'm doing is laying the bra over my marks and just roughly sketching an outline of what the lines will look like from the 18 centimeter marks to make it more of that round shape instead of just a straight line. So now I'm just making sure that the marks look right when I put the shirt back on Megan. I recommend doing this just so you make sure that everything looks like it's in the right place before you make any cuts. After double checking all my markings, I'm going to start cutting. So the first cut I'm making is 2 cuts up the side, stopping at the end of my 18 centimeter marks on both sides of the shirt. And then I'm going to cut my outline of the rough sketches I made once I placed the bra. Make sure that when you're cutting that you're leaving at least an inch in between the scissors and your original marks, just in case anything is wrong or you need to cut off a little more. You can always cut off more, but you can't add. So now I'm doing the same thing at the top of the shirt, doing my cuts a little bit away from the original markings just to make sure I have a little bit of fabric room. And once I finish doing that and cutting to the tops of the shoulders, I'm going to cut off the neck of the top. Next, I'm cutting off the final back piece of the shirt, making sure that I'm cutting from the 18cm marks in a straight line, just so that the back of the shirt has a nice, clean, even length. Alright, so now I'm checking where I stopped at the top of the shoulders when I was cutting off the front of the chest of the shirt, and I'm using that mark to make incisions as to where the shoulders of the shirt are going to be and where the back is going to start. So I'm cutting that down and then cutting a straight rectangle out from those marks. This cut is going to indicate how far down the back of your shirt is going to be and how much back you'll have exposed, so make sure you don't cut it too far down. So once you finish all the cuts, try on your shirt to make sure everything looks like it's falling in the right spot. Here's the shirt on Megan after I finished cutting. It looks a little wonky and the shoulders look a little broad, but everything's going to be cinched together with elastics later on, so do not worry if you have some sagging and some awkward length. The next step is to turn your shirt completely inside out and grab your hemming pins. Once you grab your hemming pins, you can start folding in your seams and pinning them. I like to start with the breasts of the shirt, as you can see pretty clearly how far you need to pin. I put my pins pretty wide because I'm using jumbo elastic, so make sure that you leave enough room that whatever size of elastic you're using will fit perfectly through these seams. So here's what the breast area should look like once you finish pinning. And this is what the shirt should look like once you've pinned all your seams down all the way around the shoulders, around the back, around the breast, and around the bottom. And here's what the shirt looks like on Megan once I finish pinning. As you can see, it's starting to come together and the edges look a little bit more crisp. So once we finish pinning, you can go ahead and grab your sewing machine. Once you set it up, start sewing along your seams, pulling out your pins as you go. Again, when you're sewing up the seams, make sure that you're leaving room for whatever size elastic you're using. Alright, so once all your seams and pinning is sewed up, you're going to go ahead and grab whatever elastic you're using and some safety pins. Attach a safety pin to the end of the elastic and use that safety pin to weave it through your seam. Once I've weaved it all the way through the back piece of the shirt, I'm using another safety pin to pin it down in place to make sure that it doesn't pull out. Then I'm just scrunching up the fabric and pulling the elastic tight out of the end that I put it in through. And once I find a width that I think looks pretty good to the size of the shirt I'm making, I'll take another safety pin and pin that down in place. Here's what my shirt looked like after I finished weaving it all the way through all the seams. I'm really cautious to make sure that I'm never cutting the elastic until I'm 100% certain that that's how long the elastic needs to be. As you put elastic in each part, make sure you're trying it on in between to make sure that the size is right and that you can pull the elastic to fit just right. Once I finish putting through all the elastics and try it on to make sure that they all look right, I cut them off to the length I need them and safety pin them down in place. So once I've done that, here I am measuring on Megan where the sleeves are going to fall. Once I made that measurement, I went ahead and cut the rest of the sleeve off. So for the sleeves, we want them to have a nice clean hem and not a rough cut showing when we ruffle it. I'm using my hemming pins to create a nice even edge, which we're going to sew down. So once you finish with your hemming pins, sew it down using a simple straight stitch, creating a nice even looking edge. Next, what I'm doing is grabbing two elastic pieces, which are going to be the elastics that go around the edge of the sleeves. So to measure your sleeves, just take some elastic and put it around your arm, making sure that it's not so tight that it's cutting off your circulation, but not too loose that the sleeve is moving around. So when doing a ruffled puff sleeve, I really like to use a zigzag stitch. It's a stitch that I commonly see on any puff sleeve shirt when I buy it from the store. So I'm just setting my machine to zigzag stitch, and I'm making my stitch width a little bit wider so that we get that nice ruffled look. When sewing on the elastic to the sleeves, make sure your sleeves are inside out. So we're gonna go ahead and stitch this elastic on. Make sure to back stitch on the elastic at the beginning, just so that when we're wearing the shirt and over time it doesn't fall off. So when sewing a puff sleeve, your elastic is going to be a little bit smaller than the sleeve. So as we're sewing, you're gonna make sure that you're ever so slightly and carefully pulling on the elastic as you sew to make sure that it goes all the way around the sleeve. And here's what it will look like on the inside when done. And here's what it will look like on the outside. A very nice, clean, simple ruffle. So once we finish puffing the sleeves, it's time to set down the elastics of the body. Here I'm just showing you all the areas in which I'm going to do a very small straight stitch just to make sure that these elastics don't move and that they stay in place over time. You can put them wherever you want, but I like to put them in places where they'll be a little bit hidden just to make sure that you can't see those little straight stitches. So once you've set down your elastics, you're almost done and it's time to attach the string. The Verge Girl shirts use this really pretty satin string, which I'm going to use on the silver shirt, but I couldn't find any color that was similar enough to this light yellow. I had this really deep mustard yellow, which didn't look good. So I just went to the dollar store and found this faux suede string that Megan really liked and matched nicely with the color of the shirt. So firstly, when we're going to be attaching the strings, make sure to make a knot at the bottom of the first string. Once you've done that, you could turn your shirt inside out and place where you want your string to be. I like to put my string against the elastics, that way everything looks like it's pulling together equally. So once you measure where the string's going to come through on the other side, make a hole. I use a really sharp knife, but be really careful. Make it the tiniest hole, just enough to pull the string through. So once you pull it all the way through, it should look like this. So once you made your hole, pull the string all the way through, stopping at where your knot is. Then you're going to sew your knot down in place on the elastic. Try not to go all the way through so that your thread's showing on the other side, but at the end of the day it doesn't really matter, you can't really see anyways. But once you've sewed your knots down, you're going to do the same thing on the bottom of the shirt. So we're going to have 2 strings on each side for a total of 4. And once you've made your holes and you pulled your strings through, you can go ahead and sew down that extra flap of fabric just using a simple straight stitch. And this is what it will look like when you're completely done sewing down all those seams. And here is the final shirt. I'm so happy with how it came out. It looks so nice, clean and crisp. I'm so happy with how it turned out. This fabric was really easy to work with. Megan looks so good in the shirt. She really loves how it fits. She says it's really comfortable on her and she feels very supported and comfortable enough to dance or wear this shirt out in the town. She really likes to wear it off the shoulder, which I think looks so cute. So I'm in the process of moving out of my student house right now, which means we've been looking in a lot of nooks and crannies and finding a lot of old stuff. So I found this really weird old shirt that I had, and it was the perfect fabric to make the Verge Girl shirt. I was really upset that I didn't find it at the beginning of this video, but I used it and turned it into the Verge Girl shirt, which looks so good. This is really similar to the fabric that they use, so I was really happy that I was able to find this, and it was black, which is like my favorite color shirt. So I included this in the video because I really like how it turned out. Like, that one is so similar to the top that I was really happy with the final look. And here is the silver shirt. I'm really happy with the way this one looks as well. It's not as supportive as the other shirts because the fabric is so loose and silky, but I'm still so happy with the overall look and feel of the top. It's really pretty and elegant. I would definitely wear this out or like to a nice dinner or something. So it's so cute and comfortable. But yeah, these are all the shirts that I made and I'm really happy with how they all turned out. I hope that this tutorial is easy for you guys to follow, and I'm really sorry if there's some gaps in my explanations or if I'm not fully explaining anything well enough. It's my first time trying to explain something, so I'm really sorry if it was a little bit confusing. I really hope that people find this tutorial useful and that it inspires them to upcycle some more of their old things in their closet, which is a really fun DIY for quarantine, especially that we're bored. So get out there and get creative. I hope that you guys made it to the end of this video, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the future.